Hello there, my name is Matthew Smith, Managing Director of Buckingham Gate Chartered Financial Planners, and in this video we're going to explore our new client portal and look at some of the key functionality. So the screen we see here is the dashboard screen. So this is where you will land when you first log into the portal. Now, as you can see, there are various tabs available on the dashboard, and on the dashboard you've got all sorts of customization features as well. So all of these tiles can be moved around, so you can change the position, place the items that are most important to you right near the top of the screen. You can also resize them as well, so certain tiles have the ability to become larger or smaller again. So once again, there's a high degree of customization here, and you can really adjust this dashboard screen to suit your requirements. We're going to have a look through each of these tabs in turn and look at some of the key functionality. So for most people, one of the key tabs will be the net worth tab, and this just gives a breakdown of our assets minus our liabilities. Now, of course, it's really interesting to look at these numbers develop over time, but within the portal there's a whole layer of data that sits underneath each of these tabs. So if we just click the little golden More button at the corner here, we can then see how each of these figures is made up. So in this particular case, this example client has a net worth of just under 2.3 million, 2.6 million in assets and about 300,000 of liabilities. Now on this screen we can see it broken down by section, and if we click in further we can then get a more granular view of how each of these figures is made up. So precisely where are the pensions held, for example, we can see all of the different pension plans listed here. Now what's also interesting is to look at these little Wi-Fi symbols next to each of the assets or liabilities. Now the strength of the Wi-Fi symbol here shows how up to date the data feed is for that particular item. So where we have an item with 3 bars, that means that we have a live data feed directly from the provider. So in this case Nucleus, we have a direct data feed with Nucleus which should be updating this figure in almost real time. If we have 2 bars showing, that means that the plan is updating from our back office system. So this AJ Bell general account, for example, we can see here is updating from our back office system. So again, that should be relatively up to date, but might be lagging maybe 24 or 48 hours behind real time. Where we just have a single bar of signal, that shows that this plan has been manually added to the system, and we will need to update that value manually on a periodic basis. But as we can see here, each of these we can click into, and there's even more detail that sits underneath each of these individual assets. So we can look at the value and how the value has changed over time, go in and find any further details on this particular plan, look at the history, so historical valuations over time, and also if there's any specific documents related to that plan, then you can find those under the Documents tab as well. So this is more likely to be relevant for some of the investment plans. So if we go into the Nucleus pension, for example, we can see here the different asset allocation and how the plan value has developed over time. Again, all sorts of different details about the start date and some of the other key pieces of information about the plan. We can look at the underlying holdings, so the actual funds that sit within that plan. And again, here there's another layer of data as well, so you can click into each fund and see how that particular fund has performed over time, and again look at the historical valuation of that particular fund. There'll be details of transactions, so any buys, sells or fees that have been levied on the portfolio. And once again, you'll have that Documents tab to show you any key documents in relation to the plan as well. So that's the Net Worth tab. Now, the Investments tab, the Investment Overview, this will give you, again, an idea as to the value of your whole investment portfolio and how that's developing over time. And if you hover your mouse over the top of the graph, you can see the valuation at different dates in time. If we click in a layer deeper, we then get a larger version of that graph. So again, we can track that valuation through time. We can look at our portfolio mix. So we can look how the plan is broken down and how the pension here, again, is broken down through all the different providers. And we can also look at our asset allocation as well. So where is the money? How much have we got in North America, for example? And it also shows you which funds are contributing to that allocation. And if we click through onto a fund, we can then see further data as well. So very, very rich data here in terms of how the portfolio is made up. We then have the portfolio split. So this just shows the difference between, for example, retirement or savings and investments accounts. And this is a similar view to the net worth screen. So we can click through here. This is just looking at savings and investments plans now. But again, we can click through. We've got the valuation, we've got the details, we've got the holdings, transactions and documents, very much like we had under the net worth tab. And again, if you want to know how a particular fund is doing, click on that fund. It will show you the valuation of that fund specifically. And if you go to the history tab, again, it will show you the historical valuations for that particular fund, so you can see how it's done over various periods of time. Next, this is a really interesting feature. We have the property valuation tab. So again, if we click through here, this gives you a real-time valuation on your property. And if you've put the address in the system correctly, then it should pull through a data feed from the land registry. So this is picking up real transaction data from the local area to give us, hopefully, a fairly decent educated guess as to the current market value of your property. So again, you can track that over time and see how the property values have changed. And of course, different areas vary very dramatically, so it's quite interesting. This is a great example here. We've obviously had some big event that's caused a big uplift in the value, but very interesting there just to keep track of the property values over different periods of time. Next up, we have the Documents tab. So this will show you any recent documents that we've added to the system. So if I click through here and get some further information, these are your default folders that you will see on your portal. So we'll upload any new engagement documents. All of your financial planning reports will appear here and you can sort them in chronological order. We'll also include any annual review reports for you. Now your estate planning folder has some subfolders. We'll include here wills, and you can see here there's an example document that we've added. Your powers of attorney and any trust documents will be included in there as well. And there's also space to include your insurance or tax documentation. And this is a secure portal, so it's a really good place to store any valuable documents. And if you'd like to share information with us, if you'd like us to double check your tax return, for example, you can upload it into your own version of the portal, and that will then send us an alert at this end so we can pick up that document securely. Now the other tabs on here are really other forms of information. So you can see on here you've got our Twitter feed. So we'll just drop in the fact that we've just won the Best Financial Advisors to Work For award. So that's on our Twitter at the moment. You'll also find links here to our most recent blog posts. So you can click through there and see some of our recent posts that we've added to the website. We've got the Market Commentary tab. Now if you click on this one, this is going to let you download our most recent market commentary, in this case for April 2022. So you can scroll through and download that information as a PDF if you wish. We've also got a link to any upcoming webinars. And don't forget, as an existing client, you're very, very welcome to attend any of our webinar sessions if you'd like a refresher on any of those subjects. So again, if you click on here, that's going to take you directly to the Buckingham Gate website on the Seminars tab. And if we scroll down, we'll have any seminar or webinar dates that you can register for available on that page for you. Next up, if you would like to make a referral or introduce a friend or family member to us, there's a simple form you can fill in on the portal. So again, click the button here. That takes you through to a very quick 30-second form. If you just fill in the details on here and click submit, that will then send those details through to us and we'll be in touch with your friend or family member very soon. And then finally, if you would be kind enough to leave us a review, you can click the button here and that gives you an option to leave us a review either on Google, if you'd like to review Buckingham Gate as a firm, or you can go to Vouched For and review your specific advisor within the practice. So that's the dashboard on the portal. Now you will notice there are some other tabs along the side here. Now, some of these simply take you to the same place that the dashboard does. So the net worth tab, for example, that's going to take you to a very similar view. So if I click on net worth here, you can see that's very much the same as we looked at earlier with the breakdowns of all the different assets and liabilities. Now, the insurances is slightly different. You've got all these different headings under insurances. Now on here, you can enter details of your plans. Now, most importantly, especially when it comes to things like home insurance or car insurance, if you want to, you can include your home insurance policies and you can include the renewal dates on here. So this is really important because it then means that those events will appear in your calendar, your key financial calendar, which we'll come to look at in just one moment. But it's a really good idea to put things like life insurance, health protection, or home insurance policies on here because it will then remind you of the renewal dates within the portal. The investments tab, again, very similar to what we've looked at before. We've got that overview screen and then the portfolio takes us in and we can get further detail on each of these underlying plans. We've looked at the documents tab, so that's where we're storing all of the key documents. Now the final tab here is this events tab. And this is a really good place to store any of your key financial dates. So in this example, look, we've got a policy expiring. This is an accident sickness policy with Norwich Union, which is expiring on the 25th of May. So really good idea to put all of your key renewal dates in here, and that will tell you when those plans are due to renew. In addition, you can add your own events. So you can give these events a description. So for example, it could be a reminder to file your tax return, or it could be the maturity date of an investment policy. So you can add those events into your own financial calendar and then the portal will remind you when those events come due. It also gives you a calendar of payments as well. So if you include the details of key payments on insurance policies or mortgages, it will then give you a little calendar to remind you when those payments are due to be picked up out of your bank account. Now that gives you an overview as to the key functionality on the portal. Now the only thing to mention is that if you click the little arrow up here, you'll have access to any linked accounts. So if you're in a couple or a partnership and you've agreed that you can share data between you, you'll be able to view each other's portal, but also there'll be a combined view as well. And if you manage any trusts, if you have any trusts or you're the trustee on a trust, we can link the trust account. So if I click the trust, it will then take me through to a similar view for the trust. So once again, we have a net worth screen, we have the investment overview, and we have all the different property and portfolio valuations as well, in addition to any key documents. So the functionality here is very much the same, albeit you're now viewing the values on behalf of a trust rather than your individual account, which again can be accessed just by clicking the button up here. So I hope that gives you a good view as to the different functionality available on the new Buckingham Gate client portal. This is available online in the web browser as we're viewing it right now, but there's also a smartphone application that you can download on your app store. If you just search for the Buckingham Gate app, it should pop up to download on your smart device as well. As always, if you have any questions about the client portal or any other financial planning matter, then please do not hesitate to get in touch with a member of the Buckingham Gate team. I hope you found this video useful and hopefully we'll see you in the portal very soon. One thing to mention just before we close this video, the portal can be used to share documents, as I've mentioned. There is a secure messaging function on here as well, so if you would like to chat with your advisor or a member of the team, you can send messages through the portal. However, we would encourage you to continue to use email and phone us as normal for any day-to-day communications, and simply use the portal to share secure messages or documents if there's any sensitive information. Any other questions, of course, please do be in touch with a member of the team, but otherwise we hope you found this video useful and we hope you enjoy using the portal.